Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about happiness to blissfulness, how you transform yourself from happiness to blissfulness. So, before that, I'll give you a brief introduction about myself. I am born in a place called Sri Lanka as a Buddhist. But from small days, there were certain things in my mind which I had always questions about what they talk about and what they do about. So I was just searching for something. What is the truth in this life? Even though I went to school, I never want to be educated. I just listen to them. But every time I listen to them, I thought there is something wrong what they're talking about. So this is not the truth what they're talking. They take a book and teach you something which they are not aware of, which they have not discovered of. They are just talking about something else, somebody else's discoveries. And they don't know whether it is true or not. Because why? Because they have not experienced it. So like that, from the beginning I have these questions about life, about reality, and all kind of things. So I learned so many things, and at last my destination or my thing was, which I wanted to do, is to be a creative person. So I became an architect. But I never practiced that. I never wanted to practice it because my parents wanted to learn about so many things, about the education and everything. I was just doing it just to please them. Then I left the country. In a European country, I work in a circus. Then I became a sailor. So I was sailing as a sailor for about 7 years. Then I became a businessman. Then I became a yogi. So like this, I was experiencing my life in different part of the world in different times. I just did what is available, what I could do at that time. My purpose was just to find some money, find something, a place to stay, and to find some food. But inside me, by doing all that, I was seeing everything correctly in such a way. So there, I thought, the thoughts came into my mind, what these people are doing, how the happiness, what kind of happiness they are looking for. Have they ever found it? What is the way? I tried so many ways, which a lot of masters has told about. But because we have never met the masters, real master, it was again hearsay, like what is in a book. So little by little, when I was doing this, yoga, meditation, pranayama, and kind of things, it opened up certain channels inside me. So all these things, not one particular thing, all the things I did, helped me or guided me, every person in my life who did good to me, who did bad to me. So I, through all these things, because of all those people and all the situations which I faced, good and bad both, I have realized certain things in the life in everybody in my life. So actually, truly, that I have been searching last 20 years, close to 20 years, about the truth. I got away from everything, and I was looking for it. So then, a lot of people start coming to me. They are start asking questions from me. So they ask me, why don't you tell this to the others too? So there are a lot of people in this world who wants to know the truth in very simple words. So one day I agreed, all right, I'll do it. Now this is me and this is what I'm trying to do. So before we talk about happiness and blissfulness, there are a few things that we have to understand about our lives. We have to know what is life and what is this world and our happiness, which or what it is depending on. Our happiness is always depending on something from outside, isn't it? When we see something nice or when we hear something nice or when we get something what we always wanted. So we were expecting something, when it happens, we feel happy. When people talk good about us, we feel happy. When they talk bad about us, we feel unhappy. That means all the happiness what a normal person is enjoying is what he is depending on what he gets from outside world. All right, now we have to think about how we are getting things into us. One way is seeing things. Seeing things through your eyes. You absorb things into yourself, like pictures or colors. And from your ears, from what you are hearing, we gather things. We feel things. And we all know that we have five senses and a thing called mind. So from all these five senses, we gather information every day, every morning to night. So these informations are the things which make you happy or sad, isn't it? Just look into it and see. Don't believe me. See how does it happens. So once you go to bed, once you fall asleep, what happens? Your senses are shut down. So do you feel anything? No. Do you see outside world? No. That means your senses are partially shut down. Not totally, but partially shut down. So when the senses are partially shut down, you don't gather any information anymore. So at that time, once you fall asleep, you don't know who you are. You don't know whether you are alive or dead. You don't know whether there is a world outside. You don't know anything till you wake up. When you wake up, what happens? Again, the five senses are on. When the five senses are on, you start again gathering information. So because of this information, you feel happy or sad. So this is a normal man's or woman's day. At the end of the day, with all that, you feel tired. So we keep on repeating the same thing over and over, over and over, over and over every day without looking into this deeply. So if somebody wants to find happiness, if somebody wants to transform this happiness into blissfulness or joyfulness, then there is a way, there's a technology or a way how to do it. First thing, we have to understand where we are, what we are doing. So we'll talk about that at the beginning. As a human, when you talk about a human, how this human is being made. We have a physical body, which we can touch, which we can feel, a physically created body. Then there is a thing called mind. Which operates the body. And there is another thing called aliveness. Aliveness or prana or energy which keeps these two function. That means we have a hardware that's called the body, and we have a software that is called the mind, and we have energy, a supply, power supply is called prana or pranic energy or aliveness. So basically there are so many other things, but only thing basically we take only these are the three main things. So these are three main things. With these three main things, we function as a human. So body is created by whom? By the parents. Parents created the body. Then the prana, the energy gets into you. Then later on, you created the mind. Now look at a child. And you can look at an adult. Who is joyful? Child or an adult? You can see child is always joyful. But what the adult is trying to do? Adult is trying to teach the child how to become happy. He is already happy. He is joyful, more than happy. But these guys are trying to teach him. So by trying to do that, what do? What they have done to us? They destroyed our joyfulness and blissfulness, the real happiness which was inside us as a child. But that is not their fault. Actually, they are got caught into the illusion. They don't know what is right and what is wrong, what they should do and what they should not do. So they are doing what everybody else did earlier, what their parents did to them. So they are repeating the same old story, generation to generation. The child is always joyful and happy. So what destroyed this happiness and joyfulness in a child? when you look deep into it, you can see little by little we try to see, hear, feel, and understand things around us. By doing that, automatically, little by little, we created a mind. We created the mind. That means we gathered information and we stored it as a software. So that is necessary actually to live in the world. You can't live without that also. So there's nothing wrong with that, but we have to understand how this has happened. So that means a mind has been created by absorbing things from these five senses and just putting all this information together, and we make thought patterns. Different countries, different people, they create different thought. Something wrong, correct in one country is maybe illegal or wrong in another country. So you can see now all these things are like mainly concepts of life. So now we have to discuss or think about certain things. Now we know little about how man or woman is created and what are the main things inside us. And we have to know how this world or the universe is happening. So when you talk about the world, outside world, we always see there is dark and light. And there is we talk about good and bad, correct and incorrect, happy and sad, men and women. So what are those things? Exactly opposite of the other. That means duality. There's a duality. The duality is created. Without the duality, what happens? So main source for this world, what we see is the duality, aliveness and death. So this is basically about getting out of both. Now, for a moment, we'll take the language. Every language in this world is made or created. For what? To talk about this duality, isn't it? Either we are talking good or bad or correct or incorrect. Like that. So with the language, we can only talk about a duality. With the language, with the aid of the language, we can't talk about oneness. Because it's impossible. Because why? The language is created to talk about a duality. So this is the main issue when somebody wants to talk about oneness. He has to use this language created by the duality. So with this duality, it is very difficult to talk about oneness. So that is why none of the masters wrote any books. They knew if they try to do it, then it will be misunderstood. So the person who is talking about has to talk very carefully. And the same way, the people who are listening to it has to listen very carefully. So don't try to get the meaning out of. Don't try to sort out the words. Words will have different meanings in different places, different times. So don't worry about it. Just try to get the story inside it. There's a small story inside it. Just try to absorb it, not the words. Just listen. Then you see there's a story. If you think that this guy is talking the truth, or there is something interesting, all right, listen. Otherwise, just forget it. Don't even think about it. Just let it go. That's all you have to do. So, again, what we are trying to do, we are trying to talk about oneness with the language which is created to talk about duality. So there's no other way also. The best thing is if you have opportunity to ask questions then and there and clear your doubts. But there's no way we can do it unless we sit in front of each other. Because there are a lot of people searching for this. So we have to use this technology and just to give a kind of a idea or how to think differently or change your thinking pattern to understand this duality. So that is the basic of this. I hope you understood what I have been talking. So in the next thing we'll talk about a little bit more about this duality and the reality. Little bit more.